your music down, child. So we ain't acting like we in the club somewhere chilling. Happy Sunday. How is everyone? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome everyone on YouTube. Welcome everyone on Facebook. Welcome everyone on the gram. Hello. Good evening, Juanita. Hey, Miss Anna. How are you, honey? How you doing? Oh my gosh, how am I doing? Let me tell you something. And thank you for asking. I'm just going to talk about this first thank you, honey, while we're all letting people come on into the room. Ooh, let me tell you. Oh gosh, there's a thing happening on my screen. And if this little flicker in the corner, do you guys see a flicker in the corner? And if you do, I apologize for that flicker in the corner. Hey, Christina. Hey, Jace. Hello. Thank you so much, dear. Thank you. Jace was in the Lightworker Liftoff, the new Lightworker Liftoff. Oh God, I don't like my makeup. Okay, anyway, I'm just like yammering. So my legs are better. It was both legs and the back of the leg. And it's been hurting for probably about 3 or 4 days. At least, maybe longer. So I've been in contact with some friends of mine and some very dear friends of mine that do some of the similar things that we do here, right? That's YouTubers. And then I also got a chance to call one of my friends that's a chiropractor, and she and everybody has said that could be a sign of sciatica, like the beginning of a sciatica nerve issue. So, y'all, hold on one second. I'm going to be here, but just give me just 1 second. So, that's not good. And I'm not, I'm just a little, I want to be sure that I'm taking care of myself. So we're gonna take care of ourselves a little bit better and do what we need to do. Okay, so I'm gonna start seeking out. I'm gonna start putting castor oil on it, and that's a little bit better. Not much. I'm gonna start putting castor oil on it, and then we're gonna start going to the chiropractor as well. Try bringing the ground up to your knees. Oh. While meditating. I will do that for sure, for sure. How is everyone tonight? How's everybody over there on Instagram? Hello. Hello, Instagram. I'm thankful for y'all to be here tonight. So I'm not sure. Hopefully all y'all, have y'all seen at least bits and pieces and bits and bobs of the Katt Williams? Yes, dear, but how about, can we do that at the end of this live so that I can pay attention? I don't want you having me to pass out here, Miss Anna, because I know your healing energy is very strong. Have y'all seen the Katt Williams interview on Club Shay Shay? Thank you, beloved. On Club Shay Shay, have y'all seen it at all? Hopefully y'all have. And if you have not, it is 2 hours and 46 minutes, but it is a 2 hours and 46 minutes. That is not a waste of time. And the reason, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what Katt said, but the reason why I titled this live tonight, Church Brain, World Brain, are the two the same? Is because what I am beginning to see as one who is a minister and has been ordained for 25 years now. I was raised Christian, not necessarily in the church, because if you all recall my story, Daddy was raised in the church and he did not want us to have to deal with, I know what that is. There we go. Now that little flickering in the corner that was making my ADD go crazy is done. Okay. And I think I have another light over here. I'm going to try to turn it off from my thing. Anyway, Daddy did not let us necessarily go to church because he was raised up underneath the pews, as they say. And he did not want us to have to deal with the same thing. Oh my God, I don't know where the lights are. I grew up reading the Bible, and as I've told you before, listening to Kenneth Copeland, Kenneth Hagin, Marilyn Hickey. Later on, it was Joyce Myers. Much later, who else? Oh my gosh, Andrew, somebody, I can't remember his last. Morton was his last name, maybe, I don't know. So all the old school folk, so very non-denominational. So I didn't really get into the church until I was 17 and came to, I mean, I went to some churches every once in a while with my grandmother, but my maternal grandmother, but it was, again, all non-denominational. I wasn't going on a regular basis, so I didn't know nothing about church politics and all this kind of insanity. And then when I turned 17, that's when I started going to Baptist church with my paternal grandmother. And, the rest is history on that. And that's kind of how I began, started singing in the choir, yada, yada, yada. And, went to different churches and then started learning all about all this church stuff, right? And so I did not come into church because I hadn't grown up in church. I came into church with this very kind of institutional church, this kind of like very, maybe it was naive, maybe it was a little bit more pure, because I didn't have indoctrination and doctrine to give me a certain purview and point of view on the Bible. So I came at it from a very purely, okay, these are moves of the Spirit. These are this, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't all of this like structure. You just loved God. You loved Jesus. You tried to be sure that you weren't doing dirty and you weren't doing anyone wrong, right? You tried to make sure of that. And yeah, that was pretty much, I was going to go. And so, and then God would answer your prayers and all. So it was very naive and very pure. And so I get indoctrinated in all of this. And then I'm going to the Baptist church, and, you're really not supposed to be speaking in tongues at that point. I don't know if Baptists believe that you can speak in tongues now or not. But I certainly had never known nothing about catching the Holy Ghost. What did catch the Holy Ghost mean? So in other words, I didn't have church brain. And what do I mean by church brain? That person behind the pulpit or on your television set or on the now internet, used to be on the radio and whatnot, that person was, everything that person said or did was not just to be just accepted as gospel. They say to read the Bible for yourself, but yet and still, in all actuality, I don't feel that people are encouraged to really read the Bible for themselves. That's something that's said from the pulpit, but I could tell you for sure, and I've known a lot of them, they really don't necessarily, half of them don't read their own Bible. Can I just be real about something? Half of them, half your ministers, half your pastors, your preachers, your bishops, your prophets, your evangelists, your teachers, half of them folks ain't read their Bible probably, and is longer than you have not read your Bible. You probably read your Bible if you're a consistent churchgoer. You probably read your Bible more than they do. Now, that might not be something y'all want to hear, but that's the God's honest truth. They'll read it the night before when they're preparing their sermon. They'll read it the morning of when they're preparing their sermon. It would be an oddity. It was a thing. There was one church that I was going to. Anna says she's read the Bible 10 times already, back to front and front to back. I know you have, but I don't know what you. Let me tell you something. There was one church that I was going to that I really enjoyed a lot about. Actually, it was River of Life, where I met Christina, where I was the youth pastor there, and Pastor Kurt and I. He would preach on Sunday, and then Pastor Kurt and I on Monday night, almost every Monday night, I would go to visit him. We would all break bread together. We'd all have dinner together, and he and I would sit in his study and discuss the sermon from the night before, and then what he was planning on teaching on Wednesday. And we would talk about any number of things, at least every Monday night. And I can guarantee you there were many, many weeks that I was there at least 2 times a week. And we were discussing we were discussing theology. We were discussing biblical truths. We were discussing perspectives. We were discussing interpretations. That's the only pastor that I've ever done that. Well, I can't say that. There was another one. But that's one of all the pastors I've worked with in 25 years. It just doesn't happen. And you would think that it would. Like for me, I want to talk about these things because this is how new revelation is brought forward. So we have this church brain that the pastor, the minister, the person on that pulpit or has that title. And so this could be minister of music, this could be gospel singers, this could be anybody that somehow they are completely without fault. Not only that, now this might make some people uncomfortable, but I'm just going to do what I got to do. Not only that, we suspend reality when it comes to what's in the Bible, this version that we've been given. And we've allowed people to tell us that the Ethiopian Bible, for instance, is not, a thing. Or that the Gnostic books, well, they weren't included in the King James Version for a reason. Well, that wasn't God telling them not to put that in there. That was King James deciding, right, with the Nicene Council, what to put in there. Or King James himself deciding, actually. Nicene Council is different. You have to the Spirit of God within you. Oh my, you're so sweet. Thank you, sweetheart. Hey, Simone. We don't question. So when I would question things that didn't make any sense, when I would question things that were in the Bible, I'm reading the Word of God. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying that's how we said it, right? I'm reading the Word of God. And I'm reading this with a discerning mind and spirit. And when I see this, I used to say, because I have a scientific mind as well, I used to say, you know what, this looks like a big old experiment. This looks like a big old experiment. This looks like a whole cycle. This looks like somebody came in and, that we're kind of living out somebody else's, like, I didn't really understand. I mean, I've seen the Matrix at this point when I really, really started questioning, but I didn't put it all quite together. So I didn't use the word simulation, but I was like, it just seemed to me like this is all, I don't know if it's predestination or whatnot, but something ain't right here. This is a big cycle. Well, what do you mean? All the men folk then would look at me and be like, well, what do you mean? Well, if you read the Bible, Pastor Kurt read the Bible all the time. Pastor Kurt always, I tell you, those years there were some of my best growth and theological and philosophical and spiritual. That was some of my best time. Anyway, don't get me started. If you read the Bible and you're discerning, you'll see that at the beginning it starts, the earth is created and it's good. And then the next verse, there's some great cataclysmic, apocalyptic event that has destroyed the entire place. And now it's got to be redone. It wasn't recreated. It had to be redone, replenished. At the end of the book, there's a series of cataclysmic events. There's some little time period here. And then it looks like there must be some big event because everybody's taken up off of the earth. Earth has been made brand new, and lion lays with lamb, and everybody loves one another. It's a fifth dimensional, full of love place. That's a cycle to me. That's a cycle. So what happened between 1 and 2 in Genesis? What is all this back here? And y'all preaching it wrong anyway. Because y'all making it seem like immediately anyway, y'all go read your Bible. My point to the matter is this, is that when I would question, then I'd be like, oh, little girl, sit down. So church brain doesn't question. Church brain gets mad when somebody says, this person and that person has done things to me. And I need to talk about it. If they don't come out and say it the way we want them to say it, or some other people want them to say it, or if it looks too showcasey, or if it's too this, or if it's not enough that, or if you didn't throw a name on it, or you didn't put an address on it, like we have the right to come and tell these people that have suffered the right way to come out. And then even when stuff comes out, even when you got videos, even when you got other stuff that comes out, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. On or before, I said this a couple of days ago, on or before 1/11, the new moon, y'all, on or before the new moon, there will be there will be lawsuits filed. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell anybody that's planning on filing a lawsuit, your best bet is to file it on 1/11. That is your best bet, to file it on 1/11, on the new moon. That is a day of reckoning, a day of truth, a day of clarity. The energy will be ripe and ready to take down structures. So if anybody know anybody, the energy is at its optimal on 1/11 to display truth. And between 1/11 and, let me tell you when the full moon is. Hold on. I'm going to tell you when the full moon is. Between 1/11 and the full moon, and it should be Leo, on the 25th. So during them 14 days, you'll have five more people coming. 5 more people. That's what I keep hearing. Now, if I'm wrong, great. Tell me, we'll count them up. But you're going to have 5 more massive, like big names. Then this could be because of the Epstein stuff. This could be just because of more allegations. I'm not getting full clarity on that, but all I know is that there's 5 more pillars of the community, of various communities, that we will hear about between the new moon on 1/11 and the full moon in Leo on the 25th. Because the full moon in Leo on January 25th, that's the sign of the father, the lion. Some would say you could hearken it and liken it to the Lion of Judah if you wanted to. Some of y'all say I'm a heretic for saying that, but I don't care. That's fine. I've been called worse. So that's when the great protector coming in to devour. That's when the great protector is like, oh, okay, see, y'all wanted to play with my name. Y'all wanted to play in my face. So church brain is going to see all of these things come down, and I guarantee you, they're still going to say, no. Oh, no. You're talking about the anointed. Anointings and gifts are given without repentance. This is why you have fabulous singers, and you have, some of these people that are psychic in the church, they'd be prophets because they still have the gift. It's the same gift. It operates the same. Trust me, I know. So why do I say is church brain and world brain the same? Because world brain has to say, I'm looking at world brain and I'm seeing the same thing. In the world, if somebody put a name on it, an app to it, an address on it, they're like, yeah, we ain't trying to hear that. The Katt Williams thing, the reason why I'm bringing that up, if you sat there and I watched that darn thing twice already, I might watch it one more 3 times. Because there's so much every time I go in, I catch. People are more concerned with whether or not he has told the truth about him getting accepted into college at 7. I don't know, maybe y'all have never seen that happen and seen child prodigies, but it can happen. And I'm not saying nothing negative about nobody, so don't nobody take offense. When he said he was reading at 3, I was reading at 3. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. I was reading I like full-fledged reading, not see spot run. Like you could hand me the funny papers, as they used to call them, and I could read them. So that doesn't surprise me. Now, maybe 3,000 books is a bit of a hyperbole and all of that, but people are more concerned with that and so focused on that than they are with the fact this man literally said that he got to this point, did 40, did he say 40 films? I think it's either 40 or 60 films on his IMDb. And he did it and still has a virgin behind. So he's saying he didn't have to give it up in order to get it. And he's still making money. And he's still, right? But the level and the amount, and the crazy thing, y'all, is this is not the first time that he has said these things about these people and others. This isn't the first time Katt Williams has said this. I've seen many, over the years, many interviews. And do you know what they always say? And I'm seeing this on Twitter now. Oh, Katt's on crack. Katt Williams has been the same skinny man since we seen him in Friday After Next, when he was Magic Mike or whatever he was, the pimp, to when he did Pimp Chronicles, which that's one of my favorite stand-ups, to right here today. He's the same size. He ain't never changed. His face is never, he's never, his teeth haven't, rotted. His face isn't like pocketed. You know what I'm saying? Like if you've seen anybody that's on long-term, substance abuse, their features, their physical being begins to literally rot before your eyes. There's none of that. He's never been arrested for that. So all of these allegations are thrown out without any, right? Okay, fine. But we're focused on that instead of what he's telling to be true. What he's saying is how certain people, he is, in that 3 hours, he confirmed the various rituals and or sacrifices that people make in order to get fame. And there is a pattern to the famous and how they become famous and how they maintain fame, especially when it's meteoric. Especially when it's meteoric. When you see somebody that all of a sudden pops out of literally nowhere and you can't find out where they've been doing school plays or at the Laugh Factory or in doing a bunch of indie films. Heck, even you can't even find when they've been doing adult films. You can't find nothing nowhere, and all of a sudden here they come from out of no place. They ain't been on Instagram, they ain't been on Facebook, they ain't been on YouTube, they ain't been nowhere on TikTok, and all of a sudden they just a big thing. That person, I'm not saying all of them have done it, but Katt Williams in 3 hours pretty much confirmed or said that, without saying it, said that Kevin Hart, Ricky Smiley, Tyler Perry, he briefly mentioned TDJs. Not really a lot. He even, now those 4 for sure that he alluded to went through certain things in order to get certain things. May or may not have done certain things to get certain things. He also mentioned how many different times, and he said how much knowledge how much knowledge he has, secrets he has literally gathered over the course of his lifetime. He knows who's done what, why, when, and what for. But so much of the world wants to say, "Oh no, I can't believe that." Now, that don't make no sense. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. I just saw another interview with him. I wonder if I could find it right quick. I'm gonna look. I just saw another interview with him. Yes, last night I was watching it. And he was saying to this woman that the Will Smith thing was all orchestrated. Hold on one second. I'm finna find it. Because this was a minute ago. So when did the slap happen? 2 years ago? Okay, yesterday. Here we go. Oh, I'd be watching too much stuff, y'all. I'd be watching too much stuff. Where is this video? I hope I liked it. That's the joke. That's it. Talked about. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm gonna still look for it. Maybe it was no, it was last night. Let's see. Katt Williams interview. Katt Williams, Will Smith. That's what I want to find out. I want to see that what he was saying. Yep, here it is right here. See, I know I just had to get that. Hold on, guys. So what I'm going to try to do is share this with you, but what I'm going to have to do is probably pause it. God, why is this? What's going on? Hold on, gang. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, I know why. Okay, here we go. Speakers. Okay. This is crazy. I'm not gonna be able to play it. Ah! Okay. So here we go. This is from, let me share my screen. I wasn't prepared to share the screen. Hold on. I didn't think we were going here tonight. But this is what I want to show you, because he has not been saying, he's been saying this for a while. So you can also see my screen. This is from Carrie Champion. It looks like Black Effect and Naked with Carrie Champion. And this is from a year ago. Okay, this is from a year ago. So let me see if, did I share the, let me make sure this, let me stop sharing so that I could be sure I get the sound in here. Also share, okay, good. All right, here we go, guys. Let me play it.
This is how quarterbacking go. So the question is, hey, your quarterback just got sacked. Did we know we was fin to sack your quarterback? We absolutely did. It was a play, buddy. We've been rehearsing it, working it out, making sure that at some point, when you get to this level, we can make sure we knock you from a $20 million man to putting in the news that people won't hire you no more and your career is done. Yeah.
So you said it was a setup.
You can do all of that.
You saying it was?
I'm saying that everything that happens in a business that's based off of pretend that seems like a setup is.
Now, this is a year ago. He's saying, which makes perfect sense, doesn't it? That Hollywood is all about pretend. So why would this be for real? How do you know what's for real and what's pretend? You don't. And he's also saying that they had to take him, Will, from being a $20 million man on down a few pegs. Because of a couple things. We're going to talk about this. Let me talk about this in a minute. And I'll tell you why I'm telling you all this.
Everything that happens in a business, that's based off of pretend, that seems like a setup, is.
Yes. What I'm saying is, if Jussie Smollett and Lee Daniels for a living make stories that are not real, and they make them so good that people believe them and buy them, and that's what business they're in, why would you think it would be weird if they flipped out and said a story that turned out to not be true?
Why? Why would we think that? If they are capable of doing that for a living.
That's what they do for a living. They do that 300 episodes, is take something fictitious and make it seem real. That's the business. Why would you?
I don't think.
Now, this is the reason why I'm showing y'all this. Why would we think that something, why would we not question everything when for a living, Hollywood, music, all of that, the entertainment business is in the business of making us forget reality and live in an alternate space? That's what they're here for, right? Why do you go to the movies? When I go to the movies, I forget, it's like, oh, right? I suspend reality for a little while. When I watch TV, I suspend reality for a while. I was playing the heck out of some music earlier today. Child, while I was cooking. I need to show y'all my meal. Anyway, and just for a while, I was lost in the memories of what I was doing, who I was with, where we were dancing, where I first heard this song, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I suspended reality for a moment. When we go to church too, we're there to forget and suspend reality for a moment. We're there to get in our word. We're there to not live according to the world. Hey, Cloud's child, how are you, beloved? We're going there to get a word, to get some motivation, to get some inspiration, but we're going there and we're forgetting about whatever's troubling us in the real world. We're doing what? We're suspending reality for a little while. So if we're going to think about whether or not church brain and world brain are actually the same brain, it's all doing the same thing. And I'm not saying don't go to church. I'm not saying don't go to the movies. I'm not saying don't listen to music and just sit in your house and all that. Although that would be kind of a cool day. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying though is we got to see things for what they are. And when they're not what they're supposed to be, we need to question them. We need to question them. We need to say, wait a minute, this is not right. Wait a minute, we're hearing too often now about what people are doing that are behind the pulpit to other grown men, because you knew if you did it to young men, you might go the route of Eddie Long, or you might go the route of the Catholic priests, or you might go the route of other people that have been thrown up underneath the jail for a long time. So to keep you from having to go to jail, you may or may not have done this with grown men over the age of 18. And grown women that might have looked young because you knew, and I don't care if you were in the church or outside the church, you knew that if they were under the age of 18, you was really getting thrown out. You was really out of here. Tarot guy says, yeah, because they tell us such clever lies, and openly when they talk to us outside of that, we think that, well, they say this is the truth, so it must be, but they tell us exactly when they lie. They do tell us exactly when they lie. Anna says, we need to be careful this year. I'm assuming there will be an artist song that will be put out for mind control. Not sure what artists yet. I think there's going to be more than one. And actually, there's a lot of music right now that is hypnotic and really for mind control. I'm going to get in trouble for this one. Gangster rap has been a genre for decades now. Hip hop didn't start out like this. This was not hip hop. Right? And now we're getting back to it, thank goodness, to a certain degree. But we're now seeing with the YNW Melly, with the who's the other one that's on trial in Atlanta? YSL trial. Now they're using the very lyrics that the producers, that the labels wanted them to sing, use, rap. They're using those very lyrics against them. Whether these people committed those actual crimes or not. Whether they might heard about somebody and knew the person that committed the crime and rapped about it. Maybe the person that committed the crime wrote the lyrics, and then they rap. They laid the track down. But they're using, so this is what it's been designed for. Right? The thing is, we need to look at it. Absolutely, it's got to be with eyes wide open. Dubstep is also designed to lull you into repetitive tones and sounds to make you feel and behave certain ways if you mindlessly listen to it. Let me tell you something. My beloved house music. I love me some house music. Old school house. Love house music. But you would get lost in the rhythm, in the beat, in the frequency of that music, and it gets you into such a primal state. On the flip side, when you listen to certain gospel music, or Christian, contemporary Christian music, that frequency can either lull you into a state or whip you up into a state frequency does a lot to us. Now, am I saying, oh boy, let's go here for a minute. I don't know how many of y'all that are listening to me now are going to hear me on the replay. We have ever been in a church where Hillsong songs were the thing that was sung. I start having my echoes set off water alarms. So I'm going to drink my water. Hillsong, extremely popular in the 80s, 90s. Hillsong United in the 2000s, and Hillsong still to a great degree. How many of you all know that Hillsong, the church in Australia, has been under investigation for years now, and I think a couple of their people were indicted for sending young women around for pleasure, other people's pleasure. While you got all these people up here singing and supposedly worshiping, and I will tell you that the frequency and the music, if you lose yourself in it, a lot of the frequency, Hillsong especially, of that music. I'm so sorry, guys. I've been up for a long time. And there's other people like Jesus Culture. There's a lot of other ones. On the gospel side, who is one of my favorites? I know who I am. Israel Houghton and New Breed. There's a frequency, there's a flow, there's an energy that can literally begin to help you ascend outside your body. The question is, are the people leading you outside your body leading you to a good place outside your body or a not so good place outside your body? Because I have to begin to question when the person delivering the message is in the midst of, yes, Hillsong, the original. We're gonna find that because I don't want to misquote anything. Okay, here we go. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Oh, shoot. Present. This is, and the reason, again, I'm just showing this to y'all because I want us to get out of a place where we have such church brain and or world brain that the idols, we are literally not realizing how much we're idolizing all of these people. And we're idolizing them to a point that the very thing, the very creator that we say that we are following or worshiping or in the world, oh no, I know what, I'm an independent thinker, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm awakened, I'm a this, I'm a that. You're not. It's the same thing. It's the same psyop, just two different sides of the same coin. So Hillsong, the celebrity mega churches, bombshell scandals, and controversies through the years. Over the years, now I'm gonna tell you, when I was running around singing Jesus, lover of my soul, and that was controversial when Jesus, lover of my soul came out, because it was like, what y'all saying? Is Jesus making love to you? You know, and I was like, y'all was just going. But now that I know that these people were involved in specifically sending young women around for other people's pleasure, now I'm like, y'all nasty. Hillsong has counted plenty of celebrities among his congregants, because I believe this is where Bieber went, wasn't it? But has also suffered a series of scandals. Hillsong became a part of the zeitgeist in 2014 when former pastor Carl Lentz baptized Justin Bieber in NBA star Tyson Chandler's bathtub. Oh my gosh. But Hillsong's history extends far beyond that. Founded by Brian Houston in Australia, Hillsong was originally called the Hills Christian Life Church Center in 1983. Hills CLC was affiliated with the Australian Christian Churches Network and inspired by Houston's father, Frank's Sydney Christian Life Center. So Frank Houston, his Sydney Christian Life Center, founded 6 years earlier. So Brian was grown. His daddy had already started this church. And I don't know if it's going to tell it in here, but my understanding, I watched the 60 Minutes Australia version, and they were saying that Frank Daddy Houston was really doing nasty stuff. Hills quickly grew into a mega church, attracting members thanks to the popularity of the contemporary Christian worship music during the 1980s and 90s, and Houston's work in bringing American Pentecostal elements to its services. So they came over here, got the whole raising of the hands, speaking in tongues, dancing. You know, white Pentecostals do think a little bit different than black Pentecostals, but same difference, right? Okay. After merging the Hills with Sydney CLC, right? So they merged Hills Christian Life Center with the Sydney Christian Life Center. Houston rebranded the church as Hillsong in 2001 and soon expanded its reach, opening ministries in 30 countries across 6 continents, and as of 2022, more than a dozen locations in the U.S. At its peak, Hillsong services were a haven for celebrity congregants. In recent years, however, the church has faced massive scandals, as it should, including allegations of abuse going back nearly 5 decades. So going back, this is only 2023. When did Daddy's church start? 6 years earlier, in 1977. That would give you about 5 decades, wouldn't it? So I'm telling y'all, marital infidelity and accusations of bigotry amongst its leadership. Multiple documentaries have explored the church's rise and fall, including the upcoming FX docuseries, The Secrets of Hillsong. So this was written in May. So, we might, watch this and then come back. So now here's Justin with his handler. Over the years, Hillsong rivaled red carpets in terms of celebrity sightings. Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez, Bono, Nick Jonas, Vanessa Hudgens, yada, 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 blah, 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 blah. I didn't know Kendall. Oh, Lord have mercy, Jesus. They didn't have the Kardashians in there. And the Jenners, Kourtney, Kendall, and Kylie. They didn't get no Jesus when they was in there. They didn't get nails. Look at Jesus. My God, today. Here we go. They sell huge numbers. We're going to keep on moving. I don't care, Elliot. Okay. The church was accused of homophobia on a larger scale. So Elliot Page wasn't the only person to allege Hillsong of homophobia. Former Hillsong member Noemi Uribe told Business Insider in 2019 that when she came out as bisexual, her pastor at the time told her everyone is welcome at Hillsong, but it would be problematic if she were to start practicing homosexuality. That's not news. That's not news. Now, it drove her to struggle with her mental. I mean, that's how the church has always been. She did drive her to struggle with mental health, and then she did have ideations of unaliving herself. And when she was hospitalized, nobody checked on her. I want to get to this. Okay, here we go. So Pastor Carl Lentz had a cheating scandal, so he couldn't stick around with his wife like he's supposed to. In November 2020, Houston announced that Hillsong had parted ways with its star pastor, Carl Lentz, for moral failures. The next day, Lentz revealed he had been unfaithful to his wife, Laura, who he'd met at the church's training program, Hillsong College. Within weeks, a woman named Raneen Karim, told Vanity Fair she'd had a months-long affair with Lentz after meeting him in a Brooklyn park in the spring of 2020. I don't want this. I want to. Okay, so here we go. Lentz, here we go again. Now he looking like a broke down Backstreet Boy. Lentz, y'all see Gemini? Lentz was accused of abuse and emotional abuse. While Kareem said her affair with Lentz was consensual, a former staffer who has also been the Lentz's family nanny, they love the nannies, accused him of various types of abuse. Baby, you got to get down. Get down. Thank you. Former Hillsong Boston pastor Leanna Kimes, whose husband is a former pastor, Josh Kimes, published an essay on Medium titled Writing My Voice Back. In the piece, she recalled moving from Australia to the U.S., and she was hired as a nanny for the church's lead pastors, including Lentz, and that boundaries between personal and professional blurred early on, and an unhealthy bond and attachment was formed. She was subjected to manipulation, control, bullying, abuse of power, and SA. Having told almost no one before this, I am just now able to share what I experienced in their home as a result of intense therapy. Can you all see for 1 second oh, y'all couldn't even read hardly none of that. My bad. I'm so sorry, y'all. Can y'all see where the similarities? Now this is Caucasian church. This ain't Black folk church. All this been going on for a while. There's a lot of similarities here. Okay, it might not be same gender. Yo, stop. But it's manipulation, abuse of power, bullying, control. It's the same thing. I'm gonna do this. Okay. It's the same thing. During the years I spent serving them, I was subjected to da-da-da-da. Okay, yeah. Kimes alleged that Lentz offered to pay for a boob job, child. After she had kids, you had the unmitigated gall to tell that woman you needed her to have a boob job after she had children, and those wasn't your boobs. You wasn't married to them? Okay. And often stared and commented on her body. She claimed that the behavior escalated with comments that became predatory. Oh. Comments became what? Predatory. Yep, the Bakers. Yep. Ooh, child. Listen, and what's his name? Jerry Lee Lewis's cousin, Jimmy Swagger. Ooh, that man. Okay. And Lentz began to harass her, including around his children. He didn't even have enough respect for his own children. While he never had full-on relations with me and never kissed me, I was physically violated by his unwanted and repeated touching of my intimate areas. I froze every time I froze. Does this sound familiar? Why do we accept it so much easier when it's from a woman? Can you please? I can't read if you over there. Come on, man. Thank you. We're We can hear it when it comes from a woman. But when a man says this very thing, this is why I was led to talk about this today. When a man says the very same thing, the same way, if you really listen to anyone that's ever been violated in this way, they talk a lot about how they froze. Right, it's classic Gemini, I know. She mad now. They talk about it the same way. They were violated. It was unwanted. They were not in a position of power, and they were in a vulnerable position, usually financially, in some way or otherwise. And then this person took advantage of their financial disadvantage and or took advantage of their position of power, whatever type of power they had. But they talk a lot about how they freeze. Every time they freeze, and they feel so guilty about it. She never felt like she had a safe space to speak about what she experienced. Of course not, because the church is not a safe space to do that. The church should be, because we love to quote, if you got aught with your brother, bring another person with you and da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? We love to quote that whole scene. If y'all can't get it together, then take it to the pastor and the deacons, right? But we don't really mean that. Because the minute you take it to somebody else, no, you lying. Why? Because that's the man of God. That's the woman of God. That's the head pastor. That's the associate pastor. That pastor's been with us for 20 some years. You just got here 3 days ago. Not to be funny, but these are all things that happen. And because that pastor brings in a ton of money, is a big draw, is able to fundraise at the offering basket real good, because that pastor has notoriety, because they're on national or international television, or they might even just be the local pastor that's known all over that particular state. Whatever level of power they have, then you don't listen to them, and you shut your mouth. Why? So that you can ascend through the ranks. You shut your mouth wide so you can ascend through the ranks so you keep your job. It's the same way in the world. It's the same way in the world. If people had come out against, and I don't know if any of these, where my banner at? God, dog. If people had come out against certain producers, be they movie producers or music moguls and whatnot, at a stage before they were really ready, before we were ready to receive it, and before they were really ready to like put words to it, because it's such a shameful thing to happen, and you really do internalize it and take it on yourself. If that had happened, nobody would have believed them. It took until now for people to be willing to believe a lot of these allegations. Although I will tell you, if you ran in the church realms, you knew that a lot of these things were going on. If you knew people in entertainment, you knew this stuff was going on. We did know this stuff was going on. Not to this degree, but we knew something was funky and everything wasn't sweet. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we run in these circles, but we can't tell the parishioners. We run in these circles, but we can't tell the general public, because the general public won't believe it. Why? Because the general public has idolized this person and put this person up on this such a good pedestal. And then we don't want to tear down other Black people either. Now I'm just going to talk from the Black church now. I'm not talking about, because I don't, yes, I do, but I don't. Okay. So I have to talk from this perspective. So for a Black woman to be coming out right now and saying this mess is wrong, And I can't wait, and I'll be happy when all of these lawsuits come out. And I want more to come. And I want people to pay for, not just monetarily, but where there's a space for it to happen criminally, if they did what has been alleged that they did. If they did that, then I want them to pay. And I don't care who they are, how long they've been behind the pulpit, how long they've been in front of a camera or behind a mic. I don't care. Okay? But I also don't idolize these people, because I've seen way too much. I don't idolize them. I don't worship them. Do you understand what I'm saying? So but now we're just now in that space where we're finally able to listen to this. And unfortunately, again, I don't see a difference between church brain and world brain, because it's the same arguments over and over and over again. Oh, they wouldn't do that because they did that. And oh my goodness, and why are you talking about that person like that? You shouldn't be tearing a black man down. You shouldn't be tearing a black woman down. You shouldn't be doing it, right? We don't have that many billionaires. Listen, I don't give a good gosh darn if we ain't got nailed by the time 2024 is over with. I honestly don't care. Because I'd rather have none. And I'm not saying all black billionaires are nasty. I'm just saying, however many of them got to come on down, they got to come on down, bro. I don't. It don't matter to me. Tarot guy said they believe the person in the position of power first. Yep, more often than not. Unfortunately, also men being violated by women is also usually dismissed. That is true. Unless it's something like a teacher-student situation. I just saw a crazy thing the other day where this teacher, she was 26. The student was 18. I don't know if it was her student or not. But, they was getting on. Now, he 18. She still got hemmed up. Whatever state she live in, if the teacher's 4 years older than the student, it don't matter if they're in college or not, child, they going to jail. I said, oh, Lord have mercy, Jesus. Star effing, unfortunately, as apple pie. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's finish this, because now I got to get through it. She was blamed that she was silenced. In a note on Hillsong's website, Brian Houston and his wife Bobby called the allegations very disturbing, adding, "We know that Leona may face criticism for her story and her choice to share it. In that light, we commend her for her courage and have assured her of our utmost compassion in their journey forward. Of any kind in any circumstances is always deplorable. As a church, we're committed to learning more about how to identify such trauma and bring meaningful support to anyone who has experienced it. How about getting a pair of silver bracelets? How about not making it where making the victim feel like it's their fault?" Josh and Leona Kimes remained with Hillsong and until Josh resigned amid accusations of racism. So I'm gonna ask you this: do you think they put a racism rap jacket on him to get him out of there because the woman had dirt on the other one? Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So Noemi, who is Mexican American, said that another Boston pastor, Donnie Main Ellis, called her Spanish-speaking worship group the Rosetta Stone Group. If you ain't the most ignorant. I corrected him several times saying Spanish-speaking connect group, and he would just laugh. Other volunteers of color alleged that Pastor Josh Kimes, so the husband of the woman who was being SA'd, rarely invited them to group gatherings and exclusively used black female stage managers to bring him water when he was on stage. Kimes said in a statement at the time, our Hillsong Boston team has taken some initial steps to improve racial diversity and equity at Hillsong Boston since we launched, and we're committed to make further strides as we continue to listen and learn. So I'm not understanding. Okay. Supposedly he sent a racist text to church colleagues. He resigned. Kane Keatingay, a Hillsong NYC co-founder, made racially insensitive jokes. He resigned. Now here we got the black pastor sending nasty pictures to a volunteer. What? Okay, here we go. The Daddy Houston, I can't. These people here, mega church, was accused of SA, and Brian Houston was charged with covering it up. According to the docuseries Hillsong, a mega church exposed, that was on another channel. I gotta find that one. At least 8 men came forward with allegations that Frank Houston SA'd them between 1965 and 1977. I've seen this one. It might have been on Netflix or it was on Hulu. In 2014, the Australian Royal Commission into Institution Responses to Child SA launched an investigation into allegations against Frank, including accusations from a man named Brett Sangstock. Sangstock alleged that Frank SA'd him in the late 60s when he was around 7 or 8 years old. Baby Houston, Brian, said he first learned of these allegations against his father in 1999. The Sydney Morning Herald wrote that Frank had confessed to his son before Houston forced him to step down in 2002. The docuseries obtained an audio recording of Frank preaching and telling an 8-year-old boy he was good looking in 2004. Frank died later that year. David Shoebridge, a member of the New South Wales Parliament's Legislative Council, said in the documentary that Houston and Hillsong leadership were aware of the allegations against Frank and hid them from the public to protect Frank and the church. In 2021, following a 2-year investigation from the New South Wales Police, Houston was formally charged with concealing SA. He temporarily resigned from his church responsibilities in 2022, pled not guilty on the trial, which began in December. The verdict has not, I got to find out if the verdict is, this is May. The verdict hadn't been announced. Oh my gosh, this is so much. He was accused too, Brian, of inappropriate behavior. Their first black pastor quit. He stepped down in March 2022, citing the church's greater leadership issues and a lack of trust from the congregation. My reason for stepping down of pastor at Hillsong Atlanta is probably not a secret to any of you. With all the documentary scandals, articles, accusations, the church's subsequent management of these attacks, it's become too difficult to lead and grow a young church in this environment. I know that's where he said, no, we out. Where is the other stuff, y'all? I think I saw some of... Y'all watch this docuseries, Mega Church Exposed, and then watch... the other one. Because I know that they were... Oh. Oh my God, did you see it? That's not right. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Dark Hollywood. We're not going to read all this, but I will go through this a little bit further. So basically what's happened, what's in this is this article that tells about the actual What they would do is they would send women. I gotta believe it was in that other one. They would send women on these like to these Bible camps and on these missionary trips, if I remember correctly, and they would be being trafficked. And they weren't believed. By the way, I always have to say I knew Katt was a genius. Even Terry Crews, yeah, that's right. Said in a special about a scene with Katt and Friday, he's really smart. Yeah, Katt's a genius. Anyway, guys, this is my point. I'm gonna get on off here because I've been on here and rambling now for an hour and 15 minutes. I don't see a difference right now between those that are suffering from church brain that cannot see anything other than what they've been told, that cannot begin to think for themselves, and they're so not enlightened and not elevated that they can't even really receive what's in the Bible in the way that it was meant to be stated, in the way it's meant to be utilized. And that because it's a book of empowerment, not a book of oppression. And taken from books of empowerment, not books of oppression. I don't see any difference between that and the world brain. Both have been lulled to sleep. Both have been hypnotized by money, by fame, by quote unquote clout, by being on television, by fancy cars, by planes, by nice clothes, Birkin bags, and all that. By the lifestyle. So I'm not seeing the difference. And maybe that's actually a good thing. Because maybe then finally people can wake up and see that there aren't these massive divides between us. Humanity is humanity. And what's happening is exactly what Katt said. He said God and the other side. I'm going to say light and shadow. But either you are on the light side or you're not. And if you are blinded by false light, if you're blinded by humanity, human fallacy, if you're blinded by the fact that this person has been put up on a pedestal and has a certain amount of power, money, and whatever, I just hope you can open your eyes and see the difference. All right, guys, I'm going to get on out of here. It's 11 o'clock. I did not mean to be on here. We will be doing our readings very shortly. I had day 2 of Lightworker Liftoff today. Day 3 is on Tuesday. So we will be doing our new moon readings here very shortly as well. And if there are any other topics you guys want me to discuss, and we're going to do members only live this week as well. I'm hoping to do it Wednesday. I need to start preaching every Sunday. You know what? Maybe I will start getting up and preaching every Sunday. Maybe that's what we'll do every Sunday morning. Because I sure would like it. That would be a lot of fun. All right, gang. I'm going to get on out of here, but I'm going to schedule a members only live this week. You know what? Tomorrow we need to continue with our shadow work series. So we're going to continue with that. Discuss that one girl. Oh, Lord have mercy. Daisy. Is that her name? What is her name? What's that child's? Gypsy Rose. Thank you. Daisy Rose. My God, today. Y'all saw the thing. Thank you so much. Thank you, Tarot Guy. Yeah, Gypsy. Oh, I don't know about that. Let me think on that. What am I gonna say about Gypsy Rose? I watched one of the specials. Y'all not gonna want to hear this. I watched one of those specials, docuseries. I was like, you know what? I'm not normally for killing for unaliving your mama. I'm gonna leave that alone. Okay, gang, I'm gonna get on out of here. Let me take this banner down because I don't need that anymore. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. Peace, love, blessings, and joy be unto you today, tomorrow, and for all eternity. I love you guys a ton. Namaste.